Hello, YOURpath learning community. Welcome to today's mini lesson. This lesson is on photosynthesis. Let's get started. Photosynthesis is the process by which green plants and some other organisms use sunlight to synthesize foods with the help of carbon dioxide and water. Here's a basic breakdown of the process. The first step is light absorption. The process begins in the chloroplast of plant cells, where chlorophyll traps light energy from the sun. The second step is water split. The absorbed light energy is used to split water molecules, which is represented by H2O, into oxygen, which is represented by O2, and hydrogen, represented by H. Step 3 is carbon dioxide fixation. The plant takes in carbon dioxide, represented by CO2, from the air through small openings in its leaves called stomata. Step 4, sugar formation. The hydrogen from the split water molecules combines with carbon dioxide to form glucose, which is represented by C6H12O6, a type of sugar. Now, glucose is a type of sugar that's being referenced here. Step 6 is oxygen release. Oxygen is released as a byproduct and exits the plant through the stomata. The photosynthesis equation is 6, which is represented as 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, which is CO2, plus 6 molecules of H2O, which is water, plus light energy. The chemical reaction is one way, and it yields C6H12O6, which is glucose, this form of sugar that we talked about, plus 6O2, which is 6 molecules of oxygen. Now here's the input breakdown. We have 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, which is represented by 6 CO2, are taken into the atmosphere by the plant. We have 6 molecules of water are absorbed from the soil through the plant's roots, and the water is represented by H2O. 6 represents the amount of molecules. And there is the addition of light energy that is from the sun. So we have light from the sun provides the energy necessary to drive the chemical reaction. Now this arrow here represents the actual chemical reaction. The arrow going one way represents that this is a one-way reaction. There's an input and there's an output here. Sometimes you'll see when there is a two-way reaction, you'll see the arrow going also in the opposite direction. That is not the case with photosynthesis. So this is an input and it yields an output. So the output is a molecule of glucose is produced, and glucose, as I mentioned, is represented by C6H12O6. A molecule of glucose is produced, which the plant uses for energy and growth. It also yields 6 molecules of oxygen are released as a byproduct and exit the plant through its leaves. And again, oxygen is represented by O2, and the 6 represents the number of molecules. So the process, once again, is 1, absorption of light energy. Chlorophyll, the green pigment in leaves, captures the sunlight. 2, splitting of water molecules. Light energy splits water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen atoms, releasing oxygen as a byproduct. And 3, carbon fixation. The hydrogen atoms combine with carbon dioxide in a series of steps to form glucose. In summary, photosynthesis transforms carbon dioxide and water, H2O, into glucose and oxygen using the energy from light, which is the sun. The glucose serves as food for the plant, and the oxygen is released into the environment. It's a vital process that supports the food chain and the oxygen supply on Earth. Some of the key points that you want to remember are photosynthesis primarily occurs in the leaves. It converts light energy into chemical energy, which is glucose. Oxygen is a byproduct and essential for the survival of many organisms, such as the plant, such as for human beings as well. So now let's get into the multiple choice questions, and we are going to answer the questions based on the information that was provided to us. So number one is, what is the primary function of photosynthesis? The first thing you want to make sure that you do is you always want to utilize the process of elimination when you are answering multiple choice questions. You also want to refer to the text to answer the question. So A, we have to produce carbon dioxide. B, to store energy in the form of glucose. C, to release nitrogen. And D, to absorb oxygen. So the primary function of photosynthesis, as we already mentioned based on the text, is to yield glucose. We know that option B discusses to store energy in the form of glucose. So B is the correct answer for question number 1. Okay. And then number 2, we have, where in the plant cell does photosynthesis take place? And that was also discussed in the text. So we have A, mitochondria, B, the nucleus, C, chloroplast, and D, ribosome. And we know that it actually takes place in the chloroplast of the plant, as discussed in the text. So you can eliminate the other options because they do not apply. Now, if you have difficulty answering multiple choice questions, always start out with the process of elimination. Start eliminating your options so that you are left with as few options as possible until you derive to the correct answer. This will conclude the lesson. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will talk with you soon.